friends, welcome back to my home and welcome to a really fun video that I have honestly been dying to do for quite some time now. I finally got all the stuff to do it and I'm gonna take you step by step on building the shelving around my stove area. Just to have some open shelving to obviously use and decorate and just add a little extra personal touch to my kitchen. And if you guys watch my main channel, then you see this area behind me a lot when I'm meal prepping and things like that. And so I'm just excited to kind of spruce it up and give it a new fresh look. So yesterday I actually went to Lowe's and I picked up the pieces that I'm going to need. I am doing 12 or like it's a little bit under 12-inch shelves. So I got some 1x12s. I also got some 1x8s as well for the back part. And then I got some dowel rods to add some hooks in. A quick little tip when you're picking out boards for a project like this, because you're gonna be seeing them a lot, be picky whenever you're looking through the boards. You can take the front ones out and just really look for some that don't have cracks or don't have huge gashes in them or scrapes, things like that that happen in the process of shipping lumber. I will list in the description box of this video the different supplies I used, and now I'm gonna show you how I'm going to create this. I'm hoping it doesn't take more than 2 days, and we're gonna head down to my husband's shop and we're gonna cut our pieces for this area. Before I got started, I went ahead and measured each side of the stove. They were actually a little bit different. They aren't exactly the same size countertops on either side of the stove, and so I wanted something that was going to fit both spaces well. So measuring a few times before you start is a great idea. And then I went ahead and just measured what I wanted to cut out of each board. Now, what made the most sense for these boards, I believe they were 8-foot boards, was to cut them to where we took a shorter shelf for the bottom shelf and a longer shelf for the other side of the stove for the bottom shelf out of one board, along with the brackets needed, and then also took the same out of the other board versus taking 2 short shelves out of one board and 2 long out of the other. We wouldn't have been able to get all of the cuts we need. So use a little bit of common sense, use a little bit of math to measure and cut and get the most out of your boards, because these boards are not the cheapest whenever they are pre-primed like this. And I wanted to cut once and not have to worry about getting an extra board or having to go back to Lowe's to get more material. So my husband jumped right in and decided to help me do this. So you're gonna see a lot of him doing this. And what we did is, out of the 1x12 boards, we took the top part of the shelf out of that, and then we also cut these squares to be able to cut them at an angle to create our brackets. This is gonna make a really strong bracket that's going to be able to hold dishes and other things that have a bit of weight to them versus a flimsy metal bracket or something like that. It is really helpful to make your own brackets at home because you can make them very strong. I would caution you on a lot of pre-made brackets that are in the store. Depending on what they're made out of, you may end up with things falling off of your shelf because they're not built for a specific weight. I want to say a big thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring today's video. As most of you know, I have loved FlexiSpot products for years, and right now I am loving their XR4 swivel and rocking recliner. This is, between my husband and I, our favorite spot to sit in the house right now. It came very well packaged and was so incredibly simple to put together. I could even do it myself. I'm 5'4". I didn't need any extra help, and I put it together in a matter of maybe 10 minutes. I was able to put all of the pieces on and plug it in, and it was ready to go. This super comfy recliner chair has generously packed padded armrests and lumbar area, which offers consistent support no matter your posture. It's like a big hug. It's my favorite place to curl up at the end of the day. The top portion of the headrest can be tilted so you can prop your head up while laying back. It also offers plenty of leg support, perfect for napping or for watching movies. I personally love to read, so this chair is my go-to spot to pull out a favorite book. Being a mom of 3 and we also have a small dog in the house, the fabric is a huge plus for me because it is made out of water-resistant synthetic leather. It's so cool, and of course, the biggest perk, it is easy to clean. It has a built-in USB charging port, so I can also use this as a workspace, which I really love. I'm able to charge my iPad or my phone on this chair as I'm getting work accomplished, and of course, who doesn't want a comfortable space to work at? This chair also comes with a variety of additional features. Check it out by clicking the link below, and don't miss out. Use my code XR430 to get $30 off plus free shipping. I know that this is a piece of furniture that you will love as much as we do. I'm going to admit it was super helpful to have my husband jump in on this because this next step I probably would have skipped if I was doing it myself, but he felt like we should use wood glue on top of obviously fastening the boards together. He just felt like it would really give a good strong shelf, especially for heavier objects. So we put some wood glue down before we tacked this together with staples. And again, I would have probably used screws or finish nails, and he felt like I would have a little bit of an easier time puttying up the staple marks since we are wanting this to be very aesthetic and clean looking. Now we're going to take a 1x8 for this back little panel. On the top shelf, it's just going to be a supportive panel on the back of the shelf, but on the bottom shelf it's actually going to be the area that we're going to fasten some pegs to make some nice hanging hooks, which we'll get to here in a moment. The other thing that's really nice about adding this back panel to this style of a shelf is you are able to fasten it to the studs in any location on the wall. You're not confined to a certain space and trying to hide where you're going to fasten these to the wall. And since our kitchen was kind of pieced together, it wasn't originally designed when it was built with the layout that it currently is. The studs are not centered with these countertops on either side of the stove, so having that flexibility to be able to screw right into the stud was important and went into the thought of choosing this design of these shelves. Then we just took a sander, went over the areas where it had all been cut, and now we're gonna get started in on the dowel rod. So this dowel rod I think was like somewhere between $2 and $4, and we used 2 of them for this project. You do want a few extras because just a little bit off and you can split the wood in the dowel rod, so having a few extras is a great thing. So I'm just going to be cutting those into 4-inch pieces. And while I was doing that, Corey was running some painter's caulk along all of the seams so that it looks nice and clean and flawless. And then I took those pegs and I used a electric sander just to kind of clean up the edges and make them nice and smooth and obviously not have little splinters sticking out on our hanging hooks. I let Corey do all of the math on how we were going to put these pegs in, and he just kind of divided the space that was inside of the shelf. So the spacing on the larger shelf was a slight bit different than it was on the smaller shelf, but we did make sure the spacing between the hooks was pretty close so that when you're standing and looking at both shelves, they look pretty similar and you're not looking at 2 different styles or like 2 different sets of hanging hooks. So this again was a part where I probably would have went the easy route and just screwed these through the back, but my husband said he felt like they should be inset, so he got out a drill bit that it was the exact size of this dowel rod, and he just inset these a little bit, so just going in part way into the board so that they would kind of sit a little bit more solidly, which is going to give me a great base to be able to hang anything with any type of weight. It will help them stay nice and straight instead of getting crooked from the weight of something hanging. So again, he wanted to put some wood glue in these as well, so we did that, and then just screwed the rod in through the back, and that worked out so well. Of course, these are not primed like the rest of the boards, so these do have to get primed along with the raw wood edges before I am able to put any paint on. But I am so happy to say that these hooks are super sturdy and really were cost effective. I looked at some pre-made little wooden hooks that I could have put on, and I would have paid a whole lot more than $2 to $4 per shelf, basically, for all of these hooks. Moving inside to hang these up, we just simply took a stud finder and slid it along the wall to find where the studs were, and then my husband took some good screws and just screwed them right into the studs, and then I actually used some caulk and some wood putty as well to cover up those screw marks before I primed the pegs, and then I was able to just prime it all together, and that worked out well. And basically he just had me stand behind him and tell him about where I wanted the shelves according to what I was thinking of putting on them, and then we just made measurements and duplicated the same height on the other side of the stove. And we also did use a level just to kind of give us an idea of what was about level, but because we live in an older home, we still went with sort of eyeballing what looked correct, because at level it made them look really crooked because the ceiling is not 100% level. It's kind of one of those things in older homes that you just have to work with when you're hanging things on the wall. You have to kind of work with what looks level according to the floor and the ceiling, and as homes settle, just makes them not super level. And as I was going here, I just moved things out of his way so that he was able to get in there and hang these things up. Then to prime the shelves, or at least prime the areas that were not pre-primed when I bought the boards, I'm just using some high bind primer. If I can remember, I will leave the paint and primer in the description box below. And this was a really simple project. I think we were able to put these shelves together in about an hour and a half, my husband said it was. And then obviously the touch up and the paint just took a little more time, but it really was a fast and simple project, and I am so thrilled with the results, as you will see here in a moment. If you hear some noises, my husband is mowing right now, but here we are with our blank slate, quite literally, to be able to style these shelves. I am so thrilled with how they look. I feel like they turned out just perfect. I kind of had an idea of how I was gonna put them together, and then my husband really knocked it out of the park with a lot of the technical side of it. I could have done it, but probably not quite as good of a job as he did. So we've got quite a lot of white going on here, and I knew this was gonna be the blank slate I had, but I have a vision, so stay with me. Even if you don't like white decor, I am going to pull out all of the warm tones that I'm going to incorporate in the styling of these shelves. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you all what I'm going to put up here. I'm sure this is going to be a work in progress. And you know what? The one thing that keeps coming to my mind is how fun these shelves are going to be to style during different holidays, especially the winter holidays. I can put some garland up here if I wanted to. Oh, my brain just goes wild. But we are actually going into the spring season right now, and so I'm gonna be kind of adding a few little peeps of spring in this styling. So I had fun combining some new pieces that I had found to put on these shelves along with some older pieces that I still had from other areas of my house that I wanted to put into this project. And it's just so fun to add in pops of color and warmth to a blank space. I know that some people don't really like the style that I enjoy, having a white backdrop to a lot of my designed areas, but it's just what I love. I love that fresh, crisp feeling. I've got a little bit of a taste of some cottage in there, a little bit of some Scandinavian sort of wood tones, and then I don't know, it's a little hard to describe my style. I've had people ask me before, what is your style? And I'm not entirely sure what to call it. I know that I'm a bit more modern than true cottage, because true cottage is actually a little chippy wood. You know, your wood is a little chippy looking and a lot more older antiques. And I can gravitate a little more towards the woven baskets and other warm tones, things like terracotta and butcher block and things like that that pull a more modern feel. So let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of what you would call this style. So I just kind of started out by putting my two plants that I was planning to put on these shelves in their places. It helped me to kind of have a bit more of an idea of how to decorate around them. I also put the things on the hanging hooks or the pegs that I was thinking of putting there as well, just to kind of give me a base to start off with. And yes, I did move stuff around a lot. I know you're not going to see that a lot in this video, but that's usually how it goes. I just stand back and kind of just trying to decide how and what and where and when I want everything. And this is such a great place to put things that are thrifted. There's just so much I'm gonna be able to do with this little display area that I am so excited about. Like I said, I keep thinking about Christmas with this, but even fall, adding some pumpkins in, you know, really lighting up the space with candles whenever it's colder months, making it nice and cozy is going to be so fun. I cannot even explain how thrilled I am with this whole entire look. It's completely changed the look of our whole kitchen. Our kitchen is kind of long and narrow. We have a little nook over here where we've got some benches and some seating, and then our door that heads out to the screened-in porch off the kitchen. And so this has just brought your eyes up and made the ceilings feel a whole lot higher in here. I have my sink and the microwave and stuff on this side of the kitchen, and then this just kind of fills out this blank wall that's been sitting here for some time. This here is a custom prep table. I get questions on this sometimes, especially on my main channel, where it came from. I had it custom made, and the legs actually come off of it, and I am able to put it away if I don't want to use up this little space of the kitchen here for this prep table area. But we're not talking about the prep table, we're talking about these shelves. One thing that I love about this design is that I know it can really stand the test of time with the weight of dishes and things like that because of those strong brackets that are built right into the shelf. And then of course the fun pegs. I think I'll start over here on this side. So this plant has actually sat on the top of my refrigerator for a long time. So I just bumped it up there, of course, with another little basket just to bring some more warm tones in. I feel like I'm gonna be playing with these shelves for the next couple of weeks till I get things just the way that I like them. And let's be real, I probably will still continue to change them pretty often. The little pop of spring, it's going to be strawberry season here in central Pennsylvania very soon. So this measuring cup set was a TJ Maxx find, and it's just so adorable. I actually did not realize that it had some different prints on it, so I just think it's so cute. I think these are actually strawberry blossoms, so it's quite literally like the progression of the strawberry plants growing, which I think is really neat. I've got some little glass pitchers over here, and then these guys here, I'm not totally sure what I'm going to store in them, but I love the floral detail on them. I just think that they're so pretty. They do have a good seal inside of them, so if I use them as a canister, I think that they'll work really well. I might end up transferring my coffee into those. And I popped a little rolling pin up there, just a nod to the whole baking idea up here with the measuring cups. Thought that was really cute. I may end up adding some more mugs. I just threw these two over here because they really go with the whole color scheme. And then down here is sort of my coffee station. I tend to make my coffee with my French press here, but we did recently get a coffee maker, and my husband's been making coffee in the morning before I ever got out of bed. So I haven't been using this quite as much, but he actually bought me this electric tea kettle last year for Christmas, and I do get questions on it, so I will link everything I possibly can from this whole setup below. And then these little canisters I bought a while back. If you all watch my main channel, you see them all the time in the background of my videos when I do meal preps and things like that, but they are actually from Hobby Lobby. I did see that there were some there the last time I was there, so I think they might have pulled them back for spring, but I think they were initially a fall canister, and I think they were meant for bathroom products. But I went ahead and used them here in my kitchen just for some dry goods. This here I decided to pick up, it's actually from Hearth and Hand from Target, and I thought it would kind of pull in a little more of a butcher block feel here, even though it's not like the whole countertop. It still brings a nice warm touch to the countertop. And I don't know if we'll end up using it as a cutting board. If we do, we'll probably flip it over and cut on the other side, and then just leave this side as a nice little prep area. You can also set hot things on something like this, so it works nice here by the stove. Moving over to the other side, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm a little bit more happy with this side's layout than this one, so we'll work on it. But I just think it's so cute. I did a little pitcher up there with some wooden utensils, a basket, some bowls. These guys here, I actually have regular glasses that are super similar to the print that are on these, I guess they would be kind of like a goblet. So we can pull those down just for fun drinks at times. These here I've been using a lot lately. I just got a new dishes set and it's actually from Walmart. I'll leave them linked below. They do come in a set, but I like to buy mine by the piece because I don't want all the mugs and other things that come with it. So these are a part of that. They're kind of like a stoneware, but very, very affordable. And I just love how they have this warm tone on the bottom. Then the inside of them is sort of swirled, which is really pretty. The plates are like that as well. And I just thought they would look super nice stacked up here next to that plant. Then I get lots of questions on these. So these are my salt and pepper sort of cooking containers. I do have salt and pepper shaker for the table and they're from Amazon. I will leave them linked below. I get the question for the link for these all the time. So I'll leave them linked below. I don't think they come in a set. I think I had to buy them individually and hopefully they are still in stock. Then here I have this cutting board. I was not initially planning to hang this up. I was kind of thinking I would lean it behind something up there, but the cutout in it is perfect for these pegs. So I was like, it's meant to be, it's gotta be hung up. This was a little thrift find at one point. You all probably saw this in my daughter's play kitchen at one point. I decided to go grab it because I'm like, it is so cute. It would look adorable hanging up here. I've been keeping my eye out for a narrow-necked watering can, and this one here I found at Target. It is the Hearth and Hand collection and it looks great. It works. I can hang it up there and then I can also water some of my smaller plants with that, so I'm really happy with that. This is another recent find. I have been on the hunt for a cake stand that I really love because I do enjoy baking and I feel like my family would love to see cookies and muffins and things like that inside of there just to grab and go. So I'm really excited that I have that. It's also from Hearth and Hand. I found a couple really great items in the last little bit from them. And then this here is something that is a staple by my stove, and that is our oils and then our butter. And these bottles are both from Amazon, and so is the butter dish. And then I have my little plant here and we got a nice candle burning. So I am just so thrilled by all of this. I hope this tutorial was helpful and maybe gave you an idea of how you could build some very simple shelves that are still timeless. My sister-in-law, I called her and she was looking at this and she said, you know, that's something that's gonna be around forever, the way that looks. Just looks so home centered, so cozy, and I just am so thrilled with them. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you are working on in your home right now. I love to hear from you all. And don't forget to give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next video.